Isn't that? Yeah, there we go. So just give us a few minutes, probably be not 8 minutes and 46, 45, 44, 3 seconds, whatever. So just give us a bit and we'll be back. And hey guys, welcome back to a stream of Good Night Games. We have loudness and Rumpelstiltskins and all that other good stuff. But we also have ourselves a special guest. If it's the fro artist, the guy, the artist with the fro guy, that the one that occasionally comes onto our stream. So yeah, go ahead. You want to say something? You know what's good about this is we can't hear you at all. So that. Oh, we can hear you along with Langston and Lawrence and company. So yeah, you know. Oh my God. Well, it's right now. I'm just kind of fixing fixing the volume because you're fucking loud. Let's let's get that noise suppression. You know, I like it when you whisper. All right. Well, no, but you can continue doing what you're doing. Oh, we can hear you. I'm gonna fix it.
they were just
It's going to be as good as it's going to get. And I'm quite sure people are hearing me doubling. So for the moment, until I can fix it later, we'll just do it like this. Yeah.
loud. Am I loud or are we good? All right, cool. So I'm going to go into the Gatling gun, but first, what I want to let you guys know is that this is actually a new build. So if we double click on our ship here and it loads, it's going to show us that all of our work, all the hard work and effort that we've all put in the past few weeks is actually gone. If I zoom out right now, there are the main properties for the ship. We have a new thing over here just to show you guys that it's going to be boosting and it has a new engine properties, but every weapon, all, all the weapons and all the artillery that we have right now are down. So if we take fire from any enemy, we will at least have our shields, but as you guys know, if you guys watch any space show, the shields are usually the first thing to go, and they are not really that sturdy. So we need to work on reinstating all of the previous weapons, but I'm not going to bore you guys with installing every one because there's actually 9 of them. I'm not going to bother you guys by just going over everything. That's what the previous streams are for. Instead, we're just going to hop right into the standard Gatling gun and then the double barrel. Uh, so the first thing that we need to do is, because it's showing us that there's a compiling error, we should try to compile and see what's up with these log datas, or log details rather. Let's see, we need to just change the game mode to AUI instead. So we're gonna go back into the main screen. We're gonna see if it allows us to go into the settings.
Well, so that's a question. Then. Are you using newer build Unreal?
I actually am. The ship has changed, the space has changed, everything is different. In fact, let me actually no, we're gonna just keep it on this build for now. We're just gonna jump right into it. This compiler is gonna be, let's see, there's a different call function. K2 node call function is deprecated. Use the new version of set input mode.
I know what that is. So go up
Mhm.
and the graph,
Okay.
scroll up. Where it says draw HUD, draw HUD.
Raw HUD.
Yeah, right there. Where that.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Yes. So I'm guessing because of the newer build, they have a different way in which they do all this. So I would have to go back and fix that.
Okay. So for the sake of this first video, and because it's kind of taxing my computer right now, I might just close it out. Like I might just close out this HUD function that we have here. Because right now I'm actually not able to, oh, there we go. So I might just delete this entire HUD section, or at least this input node for now. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna compile and see if it gives us any errors, and nothing. All right, so that's good. So we're just gonna work without the HUD for the time being. What we are going to do, though, is we're going to go into the basics because this will actually help because I do have to sort of redo some things from the previous videos. So I will show you guys how to set up the basic firing method, and then that will just transform when I apply more sort of sections where the other bullets are going to be spawning from. So we're actually going to go back into the viewport. We're going to look at our new ship as I slowly zoom in and build anticipation. And there we are. And there's our new ship. All right, so we're actually going to see if we can get right up in there. There we go.
Well, that's a placeholder. Yeah. So that's how the space is ship.
All right. So this is our placeholder ship. We're actually, it's a good thing that I do have Sean with me because it is a bit different from the previous standard ship that you guys are used to, the one that comes in the prototype build of the flying game mode for Unreal. So what I will need to know from Sean is just where our artillery is going to be spawning from. Like, where do we want our main weapons?
Yeah, good question. Which is why I have really stringent on you as far as weapons go, because I'm trying to figure out how we want to make it. I know we discussed. Hold on. There we go. I know we discussed prior at this point how the weapon's going to be done, and I'm thinking I may make some turrets or some points at some point on the ship, but it's not necessarily priority. Um, that's why I'm just kind of letting you free roll it and just get weapons to work,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can decide how we want to come out.
Okay, so we're just gonna follow the same thing. We actually might end up doing is just putting arrows on the sides of the sort of negative space right here, just to show exactly where these bullets are going to be spawning from. So the first thing that we're going to do, since we do see our ship here, it's going to show up right up on the top in our components as our plain mesh. It has its spring arm, which connects it to the camera, which will use, or which will pretty much show us the point of view as we move throughout the world. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to add a component. We're going to actually going to type it in as an arrow. And we're going to move this over to the side. Well, before we do that, actually, we're going to change the snap size of our grid to 100. Oh, sorry. We're going to change it to 1. And then we're going to move the arrow over to the side. So for the standard Gatling gun or the standard railgun, it's going to have 3 barrels on it. So we still need to duplicate 2 more barrels for this one. In regards to just me specifying and clarifying the different chambers which the bullets will be coming out of, we're actually going to name them right now. It's going to be called chamber 1. And I'm getting beach balls.
Yeah, that's a we decided because your ship up some level. We decide well, still deciding on how weapons would exactly.
Are you watching the stream? Are you watching the stream? All right. I need someone to watch it. That way we know what sounds are coming up. Oh, that wasn't me though.
Well,
Yeah, but is it if it is it chopping from you or is it chopping from me?
it's but I just so they might be here.
Gotcha. Like I just want to make sure that if it is doing that, we can solve that, or if
I
it's
mean, yeah, they hear me.
Yeah, they should have a mobile Twitch app. Well, the mobile Twitch channel thingy.
but what do you have to download the app?
Just type in. If you go to Google, type in Twitch Good Night Game. But, yeah, but while we're waiting, so yeah, the ship we're debating, like maybe instead of you still like there's supposed to be 4 levels of upgrades, right? So instead of having like 4 like every time you buy it, you get a new upgrade.
Okay. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
hit
I need
yeah.
to click that.
Instead of
And then I
getting
need
like
to tell me what
4,
sounds or at least yeah. So
instead of like getting 4 like every, for example, every upgrade
yeah.
every upgrade you'll get like 1 extra turret, right? Instead of that, let's just say you start off with 4 missile points, and every
It's not picking up any sound. Yeah. Hello? Hello? Hello?
turn it all the way up. Turn it all the way up. What about now? Can you hear us? Oh.
Donald took 2, you took 2.
It's weird because I can hear, like, I can pick all of them up. No,
Yeah, I don't think it's.
You
Like, you see that timeline?
Yeah.
It's not moving. There's no progression.
oh, that.
But it's showing what's on. Yeah.
So, are you guys taking a break?
No.
No,
'Cause
it's
if
streaming.
Yeah. If I do this, the screen should change.
All right, yo, one of you go to Twitch and check it. I did not just say one of you. About to hijack your laptop.
Here, let me just. I'm gonna just check something else.
So yeah, the ship, instead of having it as just like one turret that's shooting out, well, one missile point that's shooting out one missile. We'll have it where there's 4 missile points, and during the base upgrade, it's just shooting out 4 missiles. Then the second upgrade, it's like now shooting out 8 missiles. We call those salvos if you know your military terms.
Yeah. So
Here's the RPG.
as we stated in the
Here's
previous.
BIG and the RPG.
I know my terms too.
As we stated in the previous streams, most of the other weapons that you guys see, the pulse bombs, the double shots, the quad shots, the Gatling guns, will all go on the enemy ships, whereas you have your basic homing missiles and your laser. So we're just making sure that all the weapons work right now, and then if they do, then we will then. I am hearing.
Wait, so I'm guessing that they can hear me now.
It's really delayed.
It's for cursing, so we can put that out, right? Ritual brag.
Well, turn it up. How high is it on that? Okay, so it's not. Okay, we're good. Okay. So as I was saying, most of these weapons will be placed on the various enemies, and you will be stuck with your standard homing missiles and your laser, which you can then upgrade to either more missiles or a larger laser, because that's always fun. So. So going back into the ship, we're going to pick up where we left off.
Oh, and just so you guys are aware, I'm going to be like, I'm actually sorry.
Oh no. It's no problem at all.
Because of course I'm not at all rude or brash or crass or anything. I don't fucking care about the artist or the fro hijacking our channel now and then. So wait, who's talking right now? Oh, is that Langston? Oh, hey Langston, thank
You
you.
don't even need me to have Skype on then, right? I could turn it off.
What do you mean?
Oh no, there's a
No, we
share
need you
screen.
because we're dual. Yeah. So on my side of the screen, I'll be doing a variety of things, going from the galaxy level to the data sheets and all that stuff. So while he's a bit more streamlined and maintained, I'm kind of eclectic and be all over the place. So if you have any questions, just let us know.
All right. So back to the cool stuff, because that's what you guys came here for. We are going to.
Of course, you know the nitty gritty stuff doesn't. Who cares?
It's aesthetic. It's everything. It's all visual. That's what. Oh, thank you.
Aesthetics. You know what?
So we're gonna move the first chamber a little bit closer to the ship. We're actually gonna spawn the second and third chambers adjacent and above.
You're not using sockets?
No, we're not right now, because this is just to test the Gatling gun. We're gonna fly it right to the right side or the left if you're looking at it front ways from the back, which will be the point of view. It's going to be actually on the right, and we're going to test it out and see how this works. So we have our first chamber. All we're going to do is a basic Command C, Command V. We're actually going to do that twice and make sure that we have 3 arrows now. We're going to name the second one Chamber 2, and then the third one Chamber 3. Wow, my spelling is off.
Because I'm house sitting this week, so I'm gonna see.
So I'm going to take a pause as I type this stuff in and allow Sean to describe whatever's going on his screen.
So what I'm doing over now is, like I said, since I'm doing the boring stuff as per usual, I'm looking over the structures and the data tables that we're utilizing to pretty much drive a lot of the events and actions that's going on in our games. A lot of the, as you can see here, a lot of the stuff that we use relies on various inputs of data, whether it's generated numbers, names, booleans, all that stuff. I'm creating these table sets so it's easier to categorize and put them into the game when we need to go and generate that data set. This also makes it easier on the system, whether it's mobile, PC, iPhone, or what have you, to generate that data on the first boot up of the game instead of having it concurrently throughout, which may end up bogging down the systems.
And we're back. So as you guys can see, every time I select a different chamber, it highlights the arrows that we're going to be using. And this is pretty important just because we're going to try to emulate actual railgun firing. So it's going to follow the basic pattern of 1, 2, and 3. Normally you would have either 6 barrels or 8 barrels, but we only have 3 for now. And it's going to follow that pattern as it shoots the projectiles out. So the first one, if we look at the front view, the first chamber is the one that's closest to the ship. It's on the bottom. The second chamber is adjacent to it. And then the third chamber is up and to the left, or rather right of the first one. It's basically in the middle, but it's a little bit elevated. And it will follow that pattern of 1, 2, 3, and it'll do that indefinitely. So we're going to compile and save this because always save your work. Never not save anything that you do, especially if it's important. Yes, right? And we're going to go into the event graph to give these arrows their basic functionality. So as my computer, because it is a little bit slow, as my computer takes its time compiling and making sure that everything is okie dokie, I'm going to pass it back over to Sean, and he will tell you guys what he is doing.
I'm saving structures. Oh, there we go. So just fixing up, because I'm actually doing the structure set for the ship, so we can handle all the data through here instead of having all of it in the ship blueprint. Once again, I'm a huge fan of tables. Ironically, I hate Excel, but I do like spreadsheets. And the reason being is that with spreadsheets, you're having your data held in a place where it doesn't have to be generated, primarily. So you can just have, say, a blueprint, your missiles per se. You can have them call to the spreadsheet and say, okay, our base stat should be A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, instead of having to generate that stuff on the fly when that missile is created. What you can do is you can have these tables blank, have them blank, just have the categories, and then fill it in on runtime. So when you start a new game, you have your C that generates everything. We call that the galaxy C here. And it generates a string of numbers, and then you use that number to generate everything else, from the amount of stars to the amount of planets, to star temperatures, to asteroid belts. All that stuff happens, and you know, it's just easier to carry it over instead of having to generate it constantly on the fly. It's processing power that you don't have to utilize.
Okay, so all of that organizational stuff definitely does help. If anyone ever has any experience in either working in game development or even any type of development, whether it be movies, TV shows, animations, cartoons, video games, etc., finding a way to do things easier is usually the best method that you want to work with. You always want to work smarter, not harder. If you can find an easier way of doing things, then that's going to be the main option that you go for. So organization is, of course, key. And we're actually I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to be doing right now just to get the key presses in order to test our railgun. So the easy part about this this railgun is that I don't have to separate each barrel to a specific key press. I can just press one button and it'll shoot all three of them at the same time, similar to our quad and dual shot from the previous video and the spread shot where it fired them all at the same time. The only difference is that the bullets will then be working on a delay, so they won't fire all at the same time. It'll fire the first one, and then the second one will be about 1 or 2 seconds afterwards, and then the third one will then follow that same pattern. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to right-click into our event graph, and we are going to select our first key press. For the sake of this, I'm just going to make it the number 1 key. And if we zoom in, we have our basic pressed, released, and then our key structure. So the only thing that we need to use right now is the pressed. And what we are going to do is we're actually, before we even get into that, we're going to create a custom event. And you're going to have to bear with me because my computer, again, is a little bit slow. So I'm going to be bringing up the custom event, and I'm going to basically create an event called Gatling Fire. And when that event works, it will basically allow us to do what we need it to do, which is fire our weapon. So we're going to take our custom event, we're going to rename it Gatling Fire, and we're going to wait for that to load. The only other thing that I'm going to do right now, because this again is taking a little bit longer than I need it to, is I'm going to drag the pressed key from the first section here, and I'm going to drag it and make a do once, and then I'm going to drag the release key and I'm going to have it reset our timer. So once my computer is able to do that, actually, yeah, just me describing that is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to pass it back over to Sean, and once I'm finished, we will return. So, Sean, what are you working on?
Still doing that float. Just this is for the ship. So this is everything that we may need. We can always take it out later, but I'm having the XYZ coordinates, given a column, base ship speed, the number of upgrades, the current number of crew, the amount for the hull and the shields. I think I'm missing something. Is this supposed to be one for energy?
I believe so.
Sorry, unfortunately, I don't deal with the cool and fun stuff. I'm basically doing everything that people don't want.
All the
Ugly, dirty shit.
Oh, language.
Okay, Captain America.
All right, so we're actually back. I think I got the computer to actually work right now. It seems to be doing everything a little bit faster. So we're going to drag off the 1 key, and we're going to look for a do once function. And it's very self-explanatory. When I press the 1 key, it's only going to do the action once. It's not going to repeat it. It's not going to duplicate it. It will only work until I reset it. So we're going to make it drag off. Once it's completed, we're going to call the function, which is of our custom event, which is going to be called Gatling Fire. And then from there, it will spawn our actor. From our class, which will then be basically the chamber. So everything that we have here right now is the 1 press key. It's going to do once. It's going to call the function Gatling Fire. Actually, we don't even need this. We can take this out of here, and we're going to attach that to our custom event instead. So again, just to explain everything that I just did, 1 key does once, calls the Gatling Fire function. Right now, our Gatling Fire isn't doing anything, so we need to change that really quickly. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make it spawn our actor. So we want it to spawn not an AI. We actually needed to spawn an actor from a class. So this is basically saying that when we press our 1 key, it'll do once, call the function, and our function will be the spawner actor from a class. Now, as you can see, the reason why it's not allowing me to sort of drag a custom event from another custom event is because they are specified to only do one thing. So the one key cannot activate the Gatling Fire by itself. Like, it can't just go from this custom event to here. It knows that this is a function. Once we create the event, it actually creates functions in our library, which we can call from. So instead of it calling straight to here, you have to kind of reach around and create a function from your primary custom event. Keep that in mind, there can only be one custom event per action in Unreal Engine. So before we even move from there, we're going to move this down a bit. We're going to take our released and we're going to just call a reset timer, and we will come back to this a little bit later in the video, if it allows us. Oh, we actually need to look for a clear timer. Sorry. So we're going to clear our timer by function name, and the function name that we want, again, is Gatling underscore So over here, going back down to our Gatling Fire, our custom event for that, we needed to spawn an actor from a class. So right now it's not spawning anything. We're going to look back at our basic projectiles, and we see that we do have two different ones. We have a basic Gatling over here, and then we have a dual Gatling. Because we're only going to work with the basic Gatling for now, all we need to do is just remember that it's called 5_Gatling, and then go back in to our spawn actor class and type that in. Oh my gosh, it is doing something crazy. All right. So we have our Gatling Fire spawning our actor, but it doesn't know where to spawn it from because we're not telling it to spawn from any of the chambers. All it's saying is that it's going to spawn it randomly in space. So we would have to search the vast emptiness of space in order to find out where that stray bullet is going. And because it is a bullet, it will be moving on its own velocity, so it might be impossible to find this bullet. Yes, I said that. You heard me correctly. I said it will be impossible to find this bullet in space. It's like if you ever traveled in space, you would not be able to find your friend if you guys were playing this same game.
I guess one could say that it's No Man's Sky up there, right?
That was bad. That was really bad. We're actually going to compile and save this really quickly, just in case any error happens. And right now it is giving me an error, which is what I described earlier, is that it doesn't know where it's going to be spawning from. So if we just call this function, it will just create the bullet, and the bullet will travel into the vast emptiness of space and then land somewhere and probably destroy a planet. So we don't want it to do that just yet. So we're going to actually drag the spawn transform, and what this will do is it'll specify where our bullet is coming from. So we have our 3 chambers over here, and all we really need to do is basically find a function that allows us to use any of these 3 chambers. So the one function that we want to use is a get world transform.